How is it going, guys? It's a little after 12 and I'm ready to get started. We're going to let this car go by. I like being outside. You probably can hear the crickets in the background. This is Queen Can. This is your royal, independent leader of spiritual intellect. It's my favorite right now, Caramel Candace. Well, it's a couple other names I go by, but that may be too much information for you guys so soon. How are you guys feeling? How you doing? I'm so appreciative of all the love and all of the support and all of the questions and all of the responses and messages that I've received based on last night's episode. Very excited. Some people gave me some great feedback, and I'm looking forward to further conversations. Now, today, we're going to talk about something new, of course, because that's what life is about. It's a constant moving forward, if we may. There's always something new and exciting to talk about, and so we're going to get right into it. If you missed yesterday's inaugural episode, we were talking about cucumbers and how it relates to the image of Black women. So now, what we're going to start off today, I posted what the show was going to be about. We're going to be talking about unlimited resources, unlimited top resources, and how we can access and gain access to that vibrationally. We're going to talk about how to uncover the boxes of age, sex, and locations. That's what it is. We're basically going to talk about some of the boxes that we allow ourselves to be put in because we're here alone, basically, and everybody else is a reflection of what we're choosing to, our choices, what we're choosing to select for ourselves. So we're going to get into talking about wisdom and just a different way of looking at it than what's normally talked about when we talk about wisdom. And there's a lot of things I have on the menu to get into, and hopefully we can cover as much of that as we can. So the first thing we're going to talk about, now when I first come on, I'm giving you a list of different names that I go by, right? I talk about Queen Can, I talk about Caramel Goddess, and Two Cups is one of my names, right? It's so important that we get into a conversation about names. It's so important that we understand what's being invoked over our lives when people call us. Okay, when they call us by a certain name, they are invoking an energy over us. Okay, so when we were born, we were all given a name. And that name we did not choose. So just like the name we did not choose, there are some other things that we were gifted before we were born, or at the time of birth. We were gifted with a month that we were born into. We were gifted with a day we were born on. And all of these things are an indication of substance. So I want to get right into talking about some of these things. And we're going to start out talking about our July babies because we're in July. So that's pretty fitting. Again, we're going to be introducing some of these topics, and we're not going to go all the way into everything that we're introducing because this is an introduction. This is the beginning of a journey that we're going to take together. So sit back, relax, and let's learn together. So when we talk about our July babies, we're talking about action. People who are born in July are all about that action. We have no patience and we hate waiting. I already told y'all that my birthday celebration was in New York a couple days ago. Okay, I turned 35 years old. I'm born in the month of July, and I'm all about that action. And that spreads over to every area of my life, whether we're talking business, whether we're talking of personal relationships. I am a woman of action. So there is also there's a gift and there's also a downside with anything that we're talking about. There's an extreme of both sides because we're always trying to get into balance with whatever it is that we're doing. But first, The very fact that I am aware of the substance behind the month that I'm born in, it gives me some power. It puts me in a place of knowing. It puts me in the light, so to speak, because the darkness is the ignorance of what we do not know, what we choose not to pay attention to and to understand. And just because we don't know these things, just because we have not had our consciousness expanded to be aware of these things, is not an excuse. Okay? Because at the end of the day, I'm calling out from the mountaintops for people to look inward. I'm not calling anybody to follow behind me. This is a conversation about you coming into the full knowledge of you. Okay, so make no mistake that when we have these conversations, that's all it's about. So no matter what the topic is, just know the frequency is you becoming you returning to source. That's what we're talking about. So I'm a woman of action. I'm jumping on here. I'm talking to you. I'm getting straight into it. Okay. But the negative side of people born in July would be that we are so much action that we just keep going. We keep performing more and more actions, more and more actions. So I may not necessarily complete some of the things that I started. So then I have to employ discipline and order. But again, I'm already ahead of the game because I know what it means to be born in the month of July. So, do you know what it means to be born in the month that you were born in? These are small things that make a big difference, because when somebody comes to me and they say, Candace, Queen Can, Caramel Candace, you're doing too much. You're here and you're there. You're doing this and now you're doing that. You know what? I have the knowledge that I know that's who I am. That's imprinted on me. I'm already aware that I'm about that action. So nobody can come to me, okay, and try to make me feel bad and oppress me, depress me, and leave me open for someone to take control of me, simply because I know that I'm born in the month of July and I'm about that action. So now I can speak back to that person or disposition and say, get behind me, Satan, okay? Because I know what it is. I know who I am about that action. So again, I may need to employ discipline, order. I may need to, funnel. I may need to, get a hold and learn how to, learn how to not only be about action, but control my action, and making sure that my action is putting me in a better position, that I'm not just doing all of this action and still coming up empty-handed. Okay. So when we talk about names, when we talk about the month that you're born in, it's a lot of substance there that needs to be uncovered, and we can go deep. But we're going to jump into the day, because again, we're talking about unlimited access. And in order for us to talk about unlimited access, okay, to top resources, we have to know the material that we're working with. We have to know what building materials we have been given, okay, because everyone has different combinations of their building materials. And you're not going to go to a new building site and build with something other than the materials that have been bought and paid for, okay? And the materials that I have, they've been bought and paid for. Okay, no one on this earth gave me these materials that I'm building with. I'm building with source materials. Okay, and until we go back to understanding who source is, what source is, and where source is found, then we're going to come up short when we start to build our foundations. We're going to come up short when we start to build these buildings and build these empires and build these organizations. Okay, everyone can go the fast route. Everyone can go link up with all of these other people. Everyone can go sit at the table of another man. But we're talking about building our own tables, setting up shop so that people can come dine at your table. You're responsible for that. So you've been given tools. Now we go into the day. Okay, so we're going to talk about the day that I was born, because I'm familiar with that. Again, We're talking about self. So I'm telling you about what I know. And what I know is you better know about yourself. Okay, so we're going to talk about the number 5 first. The number 5 is the number of change. It's the number of unlimited potential, unlimited talent. So if you're born on the 5th day of the month, no matter what month it is, that is what is imprinted on you. That is what is in your soul. Okay? So when we look at this for the substance that's behind the number and not just looking at numbers, because some people get caught up on the titles of numerology and things like this. But we're looking at the substance behind these symbols. Okay? So the substance behind the symbol is what I am vibrating with. Okay? That is what is conviction. That's what I have a conviction for. I know that I love change. I know that I am able to maneuver in a very fluid environment. And that is what keeps me in the position of access. Until you are able to understand things about you that was given to you as a gift, that you or no one else manipulated. This is what it is. Until you understand the substance behind the day, the substance behind the month, the substance behind the year. I mean, it's all things you. It's all things you. Because you are the source that we're getting back to. If we continue to focus on a God that is outside of ourselves, we will never, ever find the power to step into ourselves. Do we understand that? Again, we're talking about unlocking unlimited potential. The unlimited potential is within you. It's within you. So, I'm telling you like I've been told. Okay? That anything that you focus on outside of yourself precedes you into heaven. Not a heaven that is somewhere other than a heaven within your grasp. We're not talking about a heaven after death. We're talking about that death that occurs when you die daily and you step into your heaven on earth. It's a mental disposition. It's a spiritual alignment. It's emanations that come and glow out of your body. So it's a 3-stranded cord always, and it's not easily broken. A mental disposition of knowing yourself, investigating yourself, allows you to have unlimited access. You authentically expressed. God within you authentically expressed. That is how you unlock unlimited potential. There are a million copycats. There are a lot of people who all they do is recycle what somebody else has already done. They're not interested in unlocking their unlimited potential. The only way that you can be seen, the only way that you can walk out your purpose, the only way that that empty feeling that you have goes away is when you activate the source, the God within you. Now, I go a lot of places. I meet a lot of people. I've had a lot of jobs. I've traveled the world. And I've never been somewhere, I've never gone anywhere and not been able, for lack of a better word, to stand out just by being there. If you are walking into a room and people don't start to ask questions about who you are, then you haven't done what I'm talking about. And we need to talk more. We need to have some conversations. It's a subtleness. It's something that people can't put their fingers on. But I'm telling you, it's because I focus, I study myself. And anyone who does not believe that God came in the body is not of Christ. And is definitely not of Christ's consciousness. And we're not talking about some character who may or may not have walked the earth. I am talking about you, the temple of God. Unlimited access, I'm telling you. So, some other things that we have to talk about, because we very quickly just gave a gloss over two main components that are very important for you to understand about yourself. The month that you were born in, the day that you were born on. We're going to talk about life path numbers closer to the end of the show, because I don't want to overwhelm with information. I want to have a conversation with you. Okay? So, we talked about what are some of the unchangeable parameters about you. And what this information does for you is it brings confidence. It allows you to have something to stand on, because you can look at the information, you can look at the substance and see and recognize the God within you. You have something to stand on. No one can come to you and say X, Y, and Z and knock you off your stance or your square or your circle or your Merkaba or your chi. No one can do that when you know who you are. So this table that you begin to build for yourself, which consists of all things surrounding yourself, builds confidence. It builds a trust within yourself. You're telling yourselves on a molecular level, where everything is transpiring, where the energy is moving across the synapses, that I believe in you. I see you. Move forward. Progress. Manifest my gifts, my talents. Every day you focus on yourself is every day you move toward yourself. You move toward being that emanation of light that you seek to be. A man without purpose, we see them every day. The people that are listening to my voice are far from people who are without wisdom. They're far from people who have lack of knowledge. However, we still struggle. We are still on the path of seeking. How is that so? How do we seek so much and still not come into the knowledge of who we are? Is it because we are looking and searching after things that have nothing to do with the inner revelation of self, of source? So when we talk about Christ consciousness, when we talk about the anointing on you, in you, that is you, we cannot not talk about wisdom. We cannot not talk about Sophia, the Sophos. It's the counterpart. Christ within us, you in the station of your purpose brings full awareness of that purpose. The seeking after that we've done up until this point, the searching after, the work that we've done, it all builds skill. Now that skill is your wisdom. You have already come upon your greatness. But we have a lack of confidence because no one has pointed you in the direction of what it is exactly. We're still distracted. So when we talk about having full knowledge of worldly and spiritual things, when we talk about having full knowledge of both human and divine things, it's the way the Bible speaks of the natural man and the spiritual man. There is a balance of energy that has to occur within ourselves. But until we start looking at the substance that has really been imprinted upon our souls instead of the boxes that we continue to live in, that's been, kind of gifted to us in this earth, on this earth, in this world, until we get out of those boxes. And how we get out of those boxes is by looking inward and understanding the substance that we are. Until we do that, then it's going to be a slippery slope, because we'll continue to have another box to get into. We'll continue to get quote unquote older. We'll continue to look at age and then question, how do we fit? How do we fit as a woman who's not a young woman anymore? I'm 35 years old. I am on my way to being what they may call middle age. How do I fit into that? How does Candace, who is a woman of action, how does Candace, who is unlimited potential, who has unlimited talent, how do I fit into a box called age? Last time I checked, I be ageless. There is no place for me in age. I have a conversation with myself, and I say self of unlimited action and self of unlimited potential. What is age? And you know what my self says back to me? Nothing but a thing. Do not compute. Continue running program. So until we run our own program, until we know what our program is, and I told you guys yesterday, very simply, I am a royal, independent leader of spiritual intellect. Okay? And how I am about my action, how I produce unlimited talent is within those 4 titles I just gave you. It breaks down. Trust and believe. So because I know my system, I don't have to run off anybody else's. Now, I may choose to partner up with people. I may choose to network with people. And that's what you do. You bring your talents and they bring their talents. But if you're not able to identify what your talents are, then you're invisible. Because people are not interested in you. They're interested in what you have to bring forth. They're interested in your emanation. They're interested in your light. That's why when people start shining and glowing, all of a sudden, zoop, they're a magnet. And everybody is so interested in them. And everybody wants to be around them. So we can do all the clever marketing in the world. We can do all of the, videos and all of the, catchy statements. We can do all of these things. But I tell you what, I don't have the patience for that system. I am not looking to fit into that system. I have my own system. And because I'm so royal, because I am so independent, because I am such a leader, I do not run off of other people's programs. Now, I told you before, there's a dark side. So, if I'm operating negatively because I'm in the dark about who I am, then of course there's a program being run on me. Of course. Of course I will not show up as a royal when you see me. Of course you won't see me as stylish and graceful. Of course you won't see me as eloquent because I do not know myself. Of course you would see me as a follower. Of course, I would need someone to lead me. Operating in the negative aspect of my gifts. So, knowledge of self. Know thyself. Nobody is doing anything but hiding it from you. Okay? Because we're not recreating the will. Now, some people are. Some people choose to work hard. I never choose to work harder. I prefer to work off of my lot and work smarter. If you are a photographer, you take the pictures. If you are a videographer, you take the video. If I am an informed speaker, I talk. I am not looking to jump into other people's pools. People should be looking to jump into your pool. But how? Why? Again, do I have to come up with a clever marketing scheme? Do I have to put myself in arenas that I know I should not be in? No, I'm going to stand here on my square of who I am didactically and emanate from there. Because I know that authenticity shines. I know that because I know who I am, I can easily see when other people don't know who they are. I can sense the energy around me because I know my own energy. So when we get into these conversations, guys, it's really to bring us to simple conclusions. There is a box waiting for you as soon as you get out of the box that you're in now. So just like I was watching one of these Avenger movies, okay? And the dark god said to one of the characters, you're going to need a bigger box. That's what he said to him when he thought that he was able to come up against such a strong disposition. Everybody has strong opinions. Everybody knows the way. But when the devil comes along and makes deposits into your happy little, controlled little environment, do you know how to respond? Or is he going to tell you you're going to need a bigger box, or you're going to need a bigger house? That's what he said. You're going to need a bigger house. In my Father's house, there are many mansions. So I'm outfitting my mansion. I can see very clearly what the foundation is. So now I'm putting furniture in there. Now I'm putting paintings on the wall. I'm making it real comfortable for myself in my Father's mansion. I'm about my Father's business, period. It's written on you. That's the business you're supposed to be about. If I bring the same thing that this person is bringing, if I do the same thing that that person is doing, how have I given honor to the talents that's within me? So, all of these issues or problems that you've been given because you're a problem solver, it can all be taken care of in the way that has been imprinted on you to take care of it. Not the way anybody else takes care of it. That's why it gets very difficult when we start pointing fingers and looking outside ourselves. Because you really should be looking inside of yourself. You make a lot of mistakes and you run a system that is not necessarily the system you should be running when you're paying attention to people outside of you, when you're paying attention and reacting to situations outside of you. I'm calm as a cucumber. You don't know what I have going on, but it does not matter because I know the essence of Candace. I know the essence of caramel. I know the essence of 2 cups overflowing. Have some. A man that does not know his purpose, that's the devil. Or can easily become the devil within him. So the world has us on good and bad. The world has us on this moral compass that keeps changing based on social agreement. That does not sound like a foundation that I can stand on. That does not sound like something I can continuously run. That sounds like a program that needs upgraded. That sounds like a program that will be defunct. That sounds like I'm going to have to go outside of myself and replace that system. Like I said yesterday, and it comes back to today. The work is inner. We're talking inner work. Now, if you get a chance and you go back and you rewind this and you just even hone in on the 2 things that I talked about and begin to understand that, because we're going to go deeper in these coming days. Your month that you were born in, it means something. But you got to study to show yourself approved, because if I just told you everything, there would be no value there for you. You're here because you come with a certain level of understanding. You're here because you come with a certain level of leadership. And you just don't lay down when somebody starts speaking. You just don't turn the ear to people when they start speaking. There's a reason that you're here. So I'm going to lead you back to yourself. I'm not in a rush, and neither should you be. Because the place that you're seeking is already found. So wisdom. You can't go without it. You cannot forego wisdom. It's the counterpart of your consciousness. Full awareness of not only spiritual things, but earthly things. All things. Full disclosure. Light. Balance of logic and reason. Balance of your heart. Balance of your guttural, your gut instinct. What happened to your instincts? What happened to that knowing? Again, 3-stranded cord is not easily broken. 3 brains operating on one accord. That's what it's going to take. Candace, what are you talking about? We're talking about you running like a well-oiled machine that you are. We're talking about you directing your chi. We're talking about you taking up your position in Christ. Again, if you think I'm talking about a man who may or may not have been walking this earth, you would be mistaken. Because like someone I heard say before, whether or not he walked the earth, the energy, the frequency, the vibration is here. And that part is undeniable. So, what energy, what frequency, what vibration are you emanating? And is it the true source that you should be emanating? Don't give me no one size fits all. We tried that. It don't work. That don't work. I'm looking for a dog that hunts, and I found one. So when people get tired of playing church, when people get tired of what is it? Basically, the church as we knew it is dead. It's ineffective. If it was working, then cool. I would have nothing to say about it, but it's not. The church that needs to work is the churches that I'm speaking to right now. That's the church that needs to work. So it goes back to first. I told you yesterday, there has to be a willingness. A willingness. Again, we can do all things, right? Or don't you believe that? Hopefully, if you're on this call, you already know that. You know you can do all things. So now we're talking about how do we do all things? And how you do all things, how you unlock unlimited access is through your specific emanation. That should be no secret to you. Now, mentally, we got to do the work because there's some programming that has to be deprogrammed. Now, how you stop doing something is you start doing as you should. I started to talk about they gave us a moral compass that is all haywire. I started to talk about how they gave us the rhetoric, or we gave ourselves the rhetoric of good versus evil. We've tried that. But now it's time to focus on that life and life more abundantly. And that life more abundantly is different for you. It's different for me. But it's one spirit. That's how I can relate to you. You do a lot of different things. You don't know what the hell I do. So how are we still able to relate? There is one spirit. And you've been imprinted with characteristics of that spirit that this time period requires. So we're going to step up to the plate. We're going to be on first. We're going to step on second, no matter what it takes. We're going to get to third base. We have to get to third base. And we don't stay there. We're always constantly going to another level. So you have to bring it home. Where's home? You are home. You are the mansion. You are the place of the Most High. So it's not a question of, oh man, I just killed that bug. It's not a question of if God is present. It's not a question of if God is all powerful. It's not a question of if God be. Because I see you. And if you have seen me, you have seen my Father. Every day that we waste not supping from our own table, not pruning, not cutting back and allowing to grow, is a day that we told Source that we don't believe him or we don't believe her. And it boils down, just like I said yesterday, to a confidence. You could be a well-studied man. You could have all the knowledge in the world and still not know where to find Source and how to operate in the power of Source. Freedom. 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 Is that what you're looking for? Freedom. Bridging the gap of who you are and who you are to be. Freedom. It takes confidence. It takes trust. It takes knowing. It takes consideration. Now, where the Spirit of God is, there is liberty. There's ease or facility of movement, action, access. I can't turn you into a royal independent leader of spiritual intellect. That works for me. That's what's imprinted on me. That's who I am. Who are you? How do you maximize? How do you glow? How do you go from glow ray to glow ray? What is your operating system? We're talking queens. We're talking kings. We're talking royalty. We're talking priests. We're talking emanations of Source. We're talking about having oil in our lamps. We're talking about the anointment of Christ, not the fake one, the real one. So tonight, my purpose, my intent is to get you to see you. I'm here because you're here. That's how important you are. There is no fun if the homies can't have none. The point is to set each other free. The point is to say, hey, the God in me respects, values, honors the Creator God in you. Do your thing. We need you. I'm tired of watching these carbon copies. Who you are is a slice of true Source. And if you could just spend these moments with me, if you could just give me a little bit of your time. Now, it doesn't have to be live. I would prefer it. Start chiming in. Let's have a conversation. I can bring some of you on live and we can do your numbers. We'll do an on live personality profile. And the thing about it is, when I speak to you, You know if it's true or not. It's not something I'm telling you and you have to figure out. It's something that you know. When I tell you this is how you are, this is how you operate, you know what you're going to say to me? Wow, you're right. Yeah. Knowledge of self is key. Let wisdom ring. Take up your place. The magic of confidence is undeniable. Because ultimately, you're in the room by yourself. You are. So when you show up, people should know it. Because you should be showing up as yourself. And everybody in that room should want to know who you are. Period. So if we're not at that place, then we know there's still some more work to do. But it's all gravy. Because all you're doing is uncovering yourself. Now, I told you we would talk about life path numbers. And we will start that right now. And we'll probably pick that up tomorrow. So your life path number is the way in which you're walking. There's a car going by. So my life path number derived from my birthday, something that I did not choose, that is fixed and does not change. I was born July 5th, 1984, and that breaks down to the life path 7. Now, there's many things that can be said about the number 7, what it represents, completion, spiritual intellect. So I know about myself that I am an investigator. I'm a researcher. I'm a scientist. That's my way. So if somebody comes to me and tells me something, I am going to show myself approved by being true to myself, by researching it. So when we talk about a person who is a life path number 1, they are a leader. That's their path. They are unable to follow because that is what was written on them. That's their talent. So when people come around and try to make you feel bad for being a leader, try to get you to follow them, and you don't understand why, you can't be a good Christian like the rest of the people, or why you can't, submit in the way that Susie Q submits, just know that your way is the way of the leader, the innovator. There is no path unless you create one. Life path number 2, the peacemaker. The person who balances. So if you don't know this about yourself, then all you have is a life of disrupted peace. Because that's the only way that I can keep you in a box, by disrupting your peace. Life path number 3 is a creator. Now, we're all creators, but that life path number 3 has another dose of creation, another dose of creative ability. They're informed communicators. Life path number 4 is the house, the foundation, the earth, the stability. Life path number 5 is the change maker, the changing agent. When they show up, whole program new. It's a whole new program, because that's what they do. They are freedom. They represent freedom. That's the Statue of Liberty. I talked about the 5 when I talked about the day that I was born. The numbers stay the same, What is the substance behind the numbers? That's what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in the person. I'm interested in the substance behind the person. I'm not interested in what you say. I'm interested in the action behind your words. Life path number 6, very compassionate, very loving. So they get abused in that area. Life path number 7, we've already talked about. Life path number 8, I told you I was in my 8th year. I'm 35, put the 3 and the 5 together. Life path number 8 is a master executive, a master planner. They get it done. Those are the people who are great directors. Those are the people who know how to manage a team. Those are the people who know how to put a plan into action and watch it come into fruition. Life path number 9 is the royal, the priest, the humanitarian. So we'll go deeper, but this is the foundation. What I'm introducing to you guys right now is called the life management system. Newly, the celebration of life. The celebration of life is nuclear, y'all. It's deeper than rap, as they would say. It's deeper than the words. We have the words. We see the words. We're hearing the words. What's the substance? Because if we know the substance now, we are gleaming at power. I am very thankful that you guys have spent this time with me. I know that some lights have come on. I can be emailed at iamqueenoftheair@gmail.com. I can be reached on my Facebook, Can Johnson. I can be reached on my Instagram, G347Fit. That's FIT. There's a number of ways. I'm here. I'm out here. I'm very thankful you guys spent this time with me. I am signing off. This is Queen of the Air, Queen Can, 2 cups. You guys have a great evening. Don't forget to catch the replays on YouTube, on Facebook, and don't forget to message me with your comments. Let's talk. This is an engagement between you and I, okay? Love you guys. To your own self be true. Stand on your square. Bye.